Hello, my name is Sean Hanrahan, and I'm so excited to be reading for the Mad Poets Society Festival today. I will be reading 4 poems for you. The first 2 are from my chapbook titled Gay Cake, published by Toho Publishing. It's available at tohopub.com or amazon.com. And the first poem I'm going to be reading is titled Swain Street. Swain Street, is it kind of like Fascination Street as sung by the Cure for blonde beaux pulling their pouts, lacy Victorian dreams when they used to swoon over a Swain, Shropshire lad who just walked in? Camp men complaining in a serpentine Polari slang they could not have him. Migraine tired after stiff drinks decorating the corners snug, trophies of misspent afternoons, judging the other puffs, smoke rings telling stories on the ceiling seen as continents from the floor. Boozy stevedore straights had no idea what they were up to. Rough trade whistling in the fug, a snifter of brandy, perfumed laudanum sips, chintz on a fainting couch, overdone wallpaper, greeting the boring swain, ungainly stammering in the parlor, looks the part, but somehow he does not entice or enchant the cynics of today. The next poem I'm going to be reading is inspired by Clueless, entitled Earning Your Keep. Cake boy to all who know, except blondes blinded by lust white sock footsie on a frilled canopy bed, he loves Tony Curtis and Spartacus, biceps secreting oil from the steam bath, desiring the spunky taste of oysters, spouting 50s lingo, dancing with the muscly till dawn. What's his favorite flavor? Does he approve of funfetti frosting or the mid-90s frosted tips of a current ska band leader? Dresses well, but Cake Boy is left out of candids. The wallet-bound group shots respected but feared, good for a laugh, but never let into the circle of jerks who quote Jim Carrey like he quotes Shakespeare. Acceptance reached only if he can teach them all the mating gyrations and scold them about dialing down the jacquard and matching ties. The next 2 poems I'll be reading is from my full-length collection titled Safer Behind Popcorn. And the first poem is titled Precedent. Gays always die in dystopias written by Ernest Straits, where the easy sucker punch needed neither for procreation nor the plot. We're left to hang from trees guarding Christian walls, taller in death where ropes stretched for subversion, hanged for gender treachery. Our disappointed eyes observe the tisking mutters, the accepting shrugs. And the last poem I'm going to be reading is inspired by the Mad Max films, and I thought it was important to read it during this election year, and it's titled Walk Softly. The new sun is a malevolent ball of orange, shining so brightly that it penetrates my nightmares as hastily bought blackout curtains serve no purpose. I have outfitted my suburban sedan with a high-powered assault rifle and flames that belch out of the carburetor announcing my approach. Angry grunge music blares on repeat since the CD jammed in the slot. Soothing technology from another age. Kurt's wails cannot quench my rage. Went off grid with my buzz-cut tinfoil cap and sweaty tank top years ago. I drive around pilfering gas from tumbleweed-ridden Texacos and ownerless cars. Half the population were incinerated after the first H-bomb matched the sky to our leader's dragon-scaled skin. Half the population coughed up cancer as the clouds mushroomed out to smother the strip malls, and futile, wasted lives settled cow-eye, eating endless bags of potato chips in front of the increasingly unfocused TV. Hipsters and students yelled, "Burn, baby, burn," from organic grocery store rooftops, spilling quinoa and chia seeds for the last few birds, pigeons and seagulls mainly, that fluttered unharmed through the apocalypse. Societies are few and far between now, living off processed goods surely gone to Ptomaine. I drive around huddled savages in a landscape peppered with melted Dali clocks and unfinished O'Keeffe vaginas. I made my decision of fury the day New York City shrugged its last capitalistic sigh and collapsed into the oil slick known as the Hudson, steel bars warping into Wizard of Oz shapes. I strapped a toy-like gun to my shoulder and lit my last cigarette on the flickering embers of that final magnificent blaze called America. Too bad they can't make a film about it.
Hi, I'm Sibelan Forrester. I'm very excited to be reading at the Mad Poets Fall Festival, and thank you to everyone who put this together. I hope that in 2021 we can all be there in person. But anyway, my first poem is called On Feline Mortality. Young punk cat has no concept of death, even if he may be its proximate cause. The crickets he torments and the mice come in two categories, moving and still. And fair enough. We play with him, moving a laser pointer, dragging a sash, and he can endow the felted fish with motion merely by jabbing his silken paw, turning it too into a temptation. Now that old lady cat is gone, lying stiff under winter ground, there are times, mostly amid the rituals of food, when I see he remembers and expects someone else to be there, competing for the scattered treats or hissing at his capers. How many days will it take him to forget her, get used to this new life as the one and only pet of the household? How long will it take me to forget her, and to lower the single bowl of food without invoking the syllables of her name, two tiny bells? This poem is called Checking My Spam. Yes, thank you for your unsolicited message. I want so badly to be on the catwalk. Women seem to love me in this dress, though it was a different dress, more red, that made the pizza delivery guy exclaim when I opened the door, "What a great dress!" On the other hand, a monkey ladder sounds kind of intriguing. Is that the way you'd climb down into a barrel of monkeys? I flash back to a game I think my sister had when we were kids, though perhaps you'd have to be a monkey to start with, and I'm not sure you could do that for me, despite the flashy promises. You also say that you supply staircases. I gather that would mean the walls that surround them? Since I wouldn't plan to travel with my stair, I wouldn't exactly be in need of a case. And anyway, I already have the walls around mine, only slightly in need of patch and painting. So it looks as if the one thing I could really use from you is a metal plank, and I'm clear on what that would be and how the cats could walk it. Not sure, though, that I need one of those at all. I think I'll hit delete. The last poem I want to read is called At Home. This new confinement offers all the downsides of childhood. I'm waiting to get out. No idea what out will be like. Basing my ideas on films and on stories I've read or been told. Surely it will include an opening to do things beyond the this and that I daily have to do, driven by relentless superego with all its parental and grandparental powers. This is where they are conserved. Perhaps all I should take from this time is one lesson. I have it in me to be my own jailer. Hence, I should contain the power to flee.
We met along the edges of a journey. You were a short-haired girl with fire atop her head who spilled blood into the stone heart and laughed. I was a nomad searching the seasons for your name. My heart never made it past the sin-like stretch of skin on your back, the poetry of Saraswati etched in the curves of your spine. I wanted to learn Braille on the staccato of your vertebrae so I could speak to you in a language no one else could understand. The first time I heard you laugh, I realized I had been in solitary confinement my whole life, and when you let me in, I knew your laughter would fit perfectly in the emptiness between my heartbeats. You were like a freshwater spring, unfurling from an origin it would take scientists ages to unveil, but you can't anchor to water. Venice is sinking, you would say to me. We're all drowning a little, so we should start moving closer to the center. I remember the day you woke up and stopped crying. And when I asked how you let the grief go, you said, I didn't. It let go of me. You see, grief is a weed that sets roots into your chest and grows strong with the salt of your tears, but laughter is a field of dandelions, pollinated by the reach of your breath. So you exhaled, and 1,000 birds took flight in my chest. Life is only a fight if you get dressed for battle, you told me. And then you laughed. Oh, but in your laughter there was a way to end a war. I don't know when it crept up on me, sprouting at the edges of my being, laying roots in the shadows of my silence, this grief larger than me, but it seeped into me, set ablaze your dandelion fields, turned my happiness into a burning pyre. You asked me to stay, wanted to sit in the throat of my pain. You would have drowned in the monsoon of my eyes, but the water was rising, and the weightlessness of your laughter was drawing my heart in like the pull of gravity, and I could not take you down with me. We float together, but drown alone, I told you, as I released your hand from mine. How do you walk away from love, you asked. You don't, I say. You watch it walk away from you. And then you turned away, and in the language of searching, I could no longer find the words to describe the allegro of your laugh. So silence took me prisoner, and I became Vesuvius, a dormant volcano with the echo of your laughter erupting in my memory, turning me to ash. I have been counting the seconds since your departure, and the chasm between my heartbeats is a silence too loud for me to bear. With each rosary bead, I try to forget your name, but somewhere in this debris is your smile. Death is not all silence and tears. It has been the angle of your lips against my ribcage, the geography of your skin along my fingertips. Sometimes it is the memory of you calling my name, and my body becomes a place of weeping, a temple in ruins scattered with the remains of your laughter. It is the memory of you that tortures me, a synapse scarred by the brutality of your absence, and where somewhere you laugh, I remember that Venice is sinking, and we are all drowning a little, and I will move closer to my center.
Hello everyone, my name is Joseph Myers, and here are 5 poems that I've written. The first is called The Girls of Autumn. Nothing embarrasses like the summer, that devout henchman of immodesty, that unflinching hedonist who pits flesh against the clout of sensibility. Shunning shame, appendages shed their garb, marking my eyes as the fragile targets whose fantasies bemoan their demotion. Such sights make me want the girls of autumn, those models of restraint to warm my will, to expose lackluster layers to tact, to forge visions worthy of my wonder. For 3 tranquil months, I rest my critiques of the earth's impartial assault on taste, and thank the sun for valuing suspense. My stares become penetrating studies in mystery, yearning, and amazement, yet my research leaks out only in nods, in smiles too light to release my fire, in discourse too brief to produce much more than an additional layer of want. As flowers wilt, my impulses blossom. As the beams depart sooner, I praise time for consistently offering substance to my penchant for moonlit reflections on fall as my quarterly companion. Despite their brevity, autumn's beauties deplete my fear of subsequent swelters. United with their sophistication, I freeze my scorn and welcome the breezes. Second one I have is called The Light of Your Face. You are my clearest trace of perfection, O agent of joy, prized angel of mirth. Owning the dearest face for inspection, you rejuvenate my withering worth. Precious and precocious, chief source of cheer, you disperse clouds with your luminous laugh, and I, a frequent follower of fear, brighten my bravery for our behalf. I love when your eyes encourage my gaze, each twinkle a sprinkle to restore youth. You eclipse distress with your constant rays, and you remind my kind that love is truth. I laud the light of your face as divine. Of all the world's gifts, whose can outshine mine? The third one that I have is called Resources. Nasty winds have blown me off my courses, giving me many grievances to air. But if I fall to what fear endorses, each gust will guide me to greater despair. I have forsaken my share of breezes, thinking a grander answer might appear. Now, as frustration does what it pleases, I hope those currents will still hold me dear. Their advisories have thus resounded, and I am ready if they become gales. But should they hope to see me astounded, they will be the zephyrs that touch my sails. To them I express my sincere remorse, counting each soul as a treasured resource. The fourth one I have is called Woman Weeping. She listens to the radio as she dries the last dish and recalls the pain of each failed girlhood wish, drops tears to prove her adult anguish, then turns to another round of sweeping. Her children talk with her now that they have eaten, inspecting a face they love, but one that is beaten. Compliments of the fists from their father, the cretin whose aggression is his way of safekeeping. While she methodically folds cotton shirts, speaking with her husband is an activity she skirts. She notes in him an apathy that hurts, before checking to see how her children are sleeping. Her oldest spots her as she had hoped he would. Smiles are shared and pain is understood. She retreats to her bedroom as she hears she should, from a voice whose temper is always creeping. No kiss or embrace will close this usual night, as silence will soon complement the absence of light. More external quiet will match her internal fright, the most familiar sight for this woman weeping. And the last one is called Child Prodigy. I learned early on that the world is flawed, mastered how it could nab a person's poise, noticed how it would bitterly applaud when someone would try to shut off the noise. I saw one turn from those he helped create, and from a woman's heart he vowed to love. Now those he left are left to simulate happiness in a world that loves to shove. I learned in time that I am resilient, able to grasp enough joy to last me through times when I realized just how brilliant it is that certain moments have passed me. I would not trade what I learned as a child. In my eyes, this mad world is reconciled. Thank you.
I'm thrilled to be here reading for you from my performance poems time capsule, the poem Cassandra Green, founder of Save the Honeybees. Thanks to everyone in the Mad Poets who put together this festival. When Cassandra Green is thinking to herself, you get to hear her thoughts too. And when that happens, I'll look over to the side and upwards rather than straight ahead. Cassandra Green. Trees, yes. Plastic bottles, no. Heirloom tomatoes, yes. DDT, no. Listen and join in. Bicycles, say it, yes. Gas guzzling SUVs, say it, no. Emphatically no. Honeybees, say yes, yes, yes. Hear the bees buzzing your name. Join Save the Honeybees. Something nagged even then, when I worked for them for Megachem. Thinking what? Needed the money, yes. Stacy got leukemia, no. My job a probable cause, mutated Stacy or another child. Ethan's permission granted to tell this. Things break, I said, that's life. Nothing's meant to last forever. It happens, I said. Swept up the pieces. Already chipped a couple places. Enjoyed it while we had it. Wedgwood worth $1,000 or more. Great-great-grandmas. Don't cry, don't get mad. What to give the time capsule? Think and think. Then Ethan broke the vase. He cried and cried. For the vase? His sister? Then it dawned. We send the future too much. Landfills, immortal agricultural chemicals, pharmaceuticals, dissolved in drinking water, mutate genomes. Listen, the bees buzz. We're horrified, yes. Do we act? No. Forget your guilt. You don't recycle. Pretend it's not important. You're too busy. I did the same. No need for shame. Just start now. Great Mother Earth, all of nature, joins us. Listen, there's still time. Bees are locals just like us. Natural range 3 miles. They're colonists just like us. Not a cheap pun, bet you didn't know. Not indigenous honeybees. Came with colonist 1600s. Colonized the land better than humans. Apologies to First Peoples. Bees waggle dance. Complex communication to the hive. For food, location, navigation. Wouldn't you get dizzy, disoriented if growers scooped you up, trucked you cross country to pollinate fields, California almonds, peaches, Florida citrus. Then alien mites invaded 1980s. Chomp, chomp, honeybees a nice snack. Bees starve avoiding pesticide-sprayed crops. Smarter than we are, know their nectar. Honey, power food. Sealed honey jar in King Tut's tomb, fresh 2,000 years. Stacy at rest now. Can you forgive me? Had to send away for one preserved. Honeybees are almost gone from around here. This bee goes into the time capsule. This sealed jar of honey and the shard of Wedgwood vase. Listen, 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 here's hope. Future mutations of us will say, strange ancestors, why send us a common honeybee? So many are there now, a nuisance these days, but good fortune, an unbiodegraded plastic bag. Now that's a wonder.